Hello viewers, and I have something to admit. I have been bitten by the iRacing bug. That's right, I am officially a part of the iRacing community. Now how did I get into this? Well, so this past weekend I actually went to the Charlotte Sim Racing Expo, and I went to the Sim Magic booth and I tested out one of their simulators. Very high quality, by the way. And they were handing out these goodie bags, and it came with a 3-month free iRacing membership for new members. And game over for me. There was no way I was going to be able to resist that. So of course, as soon as I got home, I immediately put in the code, and now I am into iRacing. So this video, we are getting into the first 2 races. You will see the very first 2 races that I did in iRacing, and it's the MX-5 Cup. And these cars are a lot of fun to drive, and even though they're slower, they are quite a challenge. But I had so much fun. They were exciting races. I can't wait to show you my journey in iRacing. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel for future content. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get right to the action, folks. Alrighty guys, let's get right into the first race. So here we go, we're just waiting for the green lights to go, and we're just getting the fastest reaction times, and we are off. So we started in P4, and we got a pretty good start. So we're side by side here with P3. We're getting a little bit more speed than they are, getting the side draft, but we got to be careful coming through these long sweeping right-hand corner. Yeah, it's pretty tricky here because with these cars, you don't have the arrows. So as you can see, the car gets really tail happy here, and we got to pitch it in. We came on the inside. Now we're up into P2, but P3, he's coming up right onto our left. He got a lot more speed coming out of that corner. So we're going side by side down this little straight here. We're going into this long left-hander. And I got to be cautious here. This car, like I said, no arrow. Got to be very mindful of our grip levels. And then this gentleman, I'm not sure what he was thinking, but he swings right over, brakes in front of me, and inevitably I hit him and he goes off the track. Not my fault. I'm definitely not going to take the blame for that. You just don't move under braking like that, or things are going to go really badly for you. And it actually is technically illegal in racing. So, coming down here, the straight, now we're down into P3, and we're just going to sit right behind this car, try to get in the slipstream for the following straights coming up here. These MX-5s, it is awesome. You know, it may not be the fastest car in the world to drive, but boy, it teaches you a lot about driving. Do not sleep on these cars. They're a lot of fun to drive. They're quite a challenge. And the one thing that I was really noticing is trail braking in these cars really matters. Because as you trail off, the car really rotates nicely. Yeah, that was my bad. I missed my braking point a little bit there. It came in too hot. So my bad. I can't remember who this gentleman was, but I sincerely apologize. I did not mean to ram you in the rear. But nonetheless, moving on. We're coming down the main street again. So now we're down into P5, and we got the slipstream. And again, we're going to be faster coming through this long right-hander, turn 1 and turn 2. Got to be very careful. It gets very tail happy. And I was really struggling in my first race to figure out how to take that corner in this car. And, you know, eventually I'd get it, but I needed to find a brake marker, you know, after I go through turn 1 and going into turn 2, and when I should pitch it in, and how fast I should be coming into that corner. And this corner here was tricky. I nailed it here, not too bad. I wouldn't say nail it, but it wasn't a bad corner. But it was really tricky to finding a braking reference point, so eventually I figured it out, but I was pretty inconsistent in this race, I would say. On turn 1/2 and turn 5. So we're moving ahead. You know, we were still in P5. We just weren't catching up to these guys, but we were maintaining pace with them. So hoping we can get more comfortable with the circuit and find our pace, and or one of these people make a huge mistake. So for whatever reason here, P4 pulls off to the side. I'm not sure if he had like a slowdown penalty or maybe something weird happened on his end. But nonetheless, we're going to seize that opportunity. We have the slipstream and we're passing him. Now we've moved up another position. Now we're into P4. So this is good news. So we found our braking point a little bit here, and coming out of that corner, we're trying to make sure not to hit this guy again, as we did not want to be disingenuous and rude. One thing about iRacing, guys, if you're not familiar with sim racing, most games, they don't really have a rigid safety rating system in racing standards. So like, for example, in Forza Motorsport or Gran Turismo, you're more than likely going to have a lot of people just ramming into each other because there's absolutely no consequences for doing it. In iRacing, boy, you better not do that. You need to learn the rules of racing. You need to learn how to be ethical, because if you are doing things that are ruining others' races, being disrespectful to everyone on the track, people are going to report you, and iRacing will ban you, whether that's a couple-day ban, a 30-day ban, and sometimes if it's really bad, you'll get it permanently banned from the platform. So it's very important to have a high level of pedigree in racing standards, because people take their sim racing seriously on this platform, which is part of what makes it good. Is you're going to get higher quality races and less people doing reckless things. So as you can see here, P4, now P4 was P5. He made a move up to us on the inside, and we fell behind him. Once again, this is my first race, and I'm getting used to just the physics of the game, this car, and also this track. Navarra is not on any other sim that I have played, and I had to look it up. I had no idea where this circuit was. So it's located in northern Spain, and it's like a grade 2 FIA circuit. So not something you'll see in Formula 1, but there'll be other races that appear. So it looks like we're got like 3 minutes left in this race, so there should be 2 laps left. We don't have too many opportunities, but so maybe we can get a podium if we're lucky and we keep up with the racing quality. As you can see, I went a little too aggressive over that curb, and I almost completely lost it. But luckily we recovered, and we're getting better and more comfortable with some of these tight little hairpins here that go into these long straightaways. So you can see P4 and P5, they are battling with each other side by side. And this, oh no, they're neck and neck coming into this corner. Now we're right on their tail because they were battling. But we don't really have the opportunity to get on the inside. He cuts us off. We have to slow down. So we just reset, keep up with these guys and maintain the slipstream. One thing about these slower cars in the MX-5 Cup, you really have to make sure everything has to be perfect. You really need to utilize the full width of the track, and you need to utilize the slipstream when you can, because it can make all the difference in catching up with your opponents and beating them. So we're coming back into the last corner here, into the main straight. We're going to get a better exit, way more speed coming out of this corner. And this guy just decides to cut us off here. So we completely lost our momentum. A little dirty move, but I had rammed this guy earlier in the race, unintentional, so I wasn't going to get too fussed out about it. But we're side by side with him. I brake a little early. I did not want to ruin this corner. Oh, and this guy goes wide, and he makes a critical error, going slightly off track, really slowing down. So we're going to take the inside and pass both of them. But this guy got a lot of speed because he went off track, and he's going to pass us. So we're going to fall right behind him here. And now we're moving up. We moved up another position due to that fatal error. We're on the final lap. There's not too many opportunities left, so we got to be careful. I was being extremely cautious. I got more speed coming out that corner, and I genuinely did not mean to bump him. I really didn't. But he did slow down in a really weird spot, and I am to blame there, but he just randomly slowed down, and there just really wasn't much I could do there. Anyways, we're coming into Sector 3 here, and we were in P3. We were in a podium position, but we just ruined it. And on one of the previous corners, we had forgotten to downshift down to first gear, so we completely lost our momentum on that back straight. So now we're hoping they make a mistake on these last 3 corners here. So we're going to try to get as much speed as we can out here, use all the width of the track. We're still within the track limits, but they got a better exit, and they're pulling away from us, so hopefully they make a battle here into this corner. But it looks like they're not, so our only hope is to get a really good exit with a lot of speed, but it wasn't enough. But nonetheless, all things considered, for our first race in iRacing, we finished in P5, which is nothing to hold your head down about. I mean, that's pretty terrific. And man, that was a lot of fun. But now we're into the next race, and we have the green lights. And we qualified in P2 this time. And man, I gotta say, this was a great battle through and through with this gentleman here in P1. Just very similar in pace, very similar in skill level. And this time around, I was much more comfortable with the course and my lines, so it was a lot more fun this time around. So as you can see, we're already building a gap compared to the rest of the pack, like probably a second and a half. So we're coming into this left-hander. We're not going to be able to take the inside, so we're just going to fall right in behind him. I found it with this corner, it was best to just, rather than brake, just let off the throttle, let it coast, and lightly pitch it in, kind of throw it into the apex there on the left. Ride that left line in the curbing, and then let it swing out a little bit. Yeah, that seemed to be optimal line for me. So now we're coming down the straight. He's trying to get away from us so we don't get a slipstream, but we're going to fall right behind him and use that to our advantage. Brake at our normal point, right between the 2 braking meter boards. There's like a little light there, right in the middle. That's roughly my braking point. And you can brake a little bit earlier, but I think it's better to brake a little bit earlier as you can generate more speed coming out that corner if you hit it just right. Now this corner was a little bit of a tricky one at first, but I was figuring it out and having to utilize the full width of the track while at the same time not losing it hitting that curb. It took a little too much curb than I would like, but as you can see there, we did get track limits. Not anything crazy. We still have you can have 17 off-track limits before you get disqualified from the race, which I think is a little bit crazy. But, whatever. Not going to argue with it. So we're maintaining very similar pace. Again, he's trying to get out of the way so that we're not in a slipstream, but obviously we're going to follow right behind him. I think we're a little bit too far away in these cars to utilize the benefits of slipstream, but I think we're definitely getting some sort of benefit. So on that corner, I don't know if you guys can see it or if you saw it the last time, but my braking reference happened to be, there was like a part in the track where there's this clear line where the pavement goes from being really dark to like a grayer, and I was braking like just about a car length past that little marker, and that seemed to be working well for me. Flip it down to second gear, pitch it in over the curb, and then come out wide, and then set myself up for turn 3 into first gear, and then utilize the full width. That seemed to be working best for me through those first little bits, those first corners. So the parts that I was struggling with initially are becoming much more manageable for me, and I'm able to get my average lap times down. So we're right there on his tail. We're within the slipstream, and we're being really consistent, and so is this guy. I mean, this is just epic racing here, honestly, especially for MX-5. Pitched it in a little too slow than what I would have liked. I could have gotten a little bit more speed coming into this corner, but, you know, that's fine. No harm, no foul. We're still right there. I made an error. I got a little bit too early on the gas there, and I had to back out and reapply the throttle, and that's going to cost me a little bit of time. You can see he's pulling a little bit away from me. Oh, and you can see P3, I'm not sure what he was thinking there, but he almost took us out. Thank God he didn't. But that was a very close call. I did not see him coming. He must have just had a moment where he lost focus for a split second. I mean, it happens to the best of us, any racer. It's so easy to get caught up, and, you know, you're so focused for so long, and if you daydream for just a hair, it's over. So as you can see, we really nailed this corner. He goes way too wide. Now we are right on his tail. We had the speed advantage, but he's kind of using the track to slow us down, so we're forced to back off the throttle. But we're right here, so I'm going to not quite take the inside, but at least make him nervous, see if he screws up. He doesn't. He holds his line. He's a pretty good defensive position. Well done. And we took that corner a little too rough, but luckily because of the angle, it didn't unsettle the car too much, so we're still right behind him. Came through that corner a little too slow. Could have gained a little bit more speed, but, you know, we persevered. We're still right there. We're still keeping up with him, so we're going to have to find another opportunity to pass him. And all I got to say, though, is, I mean, this is my second race, but I never understood iRacing, you know, when I first got into sim racing. When you think about the monetization strategy of it, it's like, wow, you know, you have to pay a membership fee. There's tracks you have to pay for and cars you have to pay for. Now, what I'm playing for, or what I'm playing right now, all comes with it. And luckily, I actually went to the Charlotte Sim Racing Expo, and I went to the Sim Magic booth, and I tested one of their simulators, and they gave us a booth, or a gift bag, and it contained a 3-month membership for iRacing for free. Man, I think that might have been one of the worst things to happen, because obviously I'm going to use that, and now I get it. There's just something special about this game. I don't know what it is. You know, obviously the physics are amazing, but I think it's just the racing in general. I mean, even though I was in rookie lobbies, and sure, some people were doing some questionable moves and doing some things, and heck, I even did some stuff. I was guilty of it, but right off the bat, the quality of the racing is just absolutely phenomenal. People are just respecting each other a lot more, giving each other space, and I get it. I get it now. And, you know, people might think, well, like, they're being greedy with, like, trying to charge the subscription and charge for every car when other sims offer all the same tracks, but you just pay for the game's price. But my counter argument to that is, because of the barrier, or the entry barriers of the additional costs, I think it scares away all the BS that comes with a lot of sim racing titles in terms of the low quality driving standards. So you can agree with me, disagree with me, you know, let me know what your thoughts are, but I think that's a pretty good argument for iRacing of the costs keep all the crap out. But anyways, I highly recommend this game. And I mean, I'm just getting into it. Maybe I shouldn't put my, maybe I shouldn't say that. That could be a little too premature. But man, I'm having so much fun with it. And you know, I did a lot of other races after this, and it's just such a good time. It really is. So as you can see, P1's starting to pull away from us, which is kind of concerning. He's finding a little bit more pace. So I really need to step my game up here. So we're flipping it down into first gear, pitching it in, using all the track, get back on the throttle. Not the best corner, but not terrible. Now we're going to have to really find our pace. So I'm going to pitch it in even more into this corner. So as you can see, I just rev it all the way up into the limiter in third gear. I'm braking down in the first gear. Oh, I get a really good exit. Lots of speed coming out there, using all the track there onto the right. And you can see I'm slowly creeping up on him. Flip it down, back on the throttle, maintain control of the car. Didn't quite use all the track. We could have used a little bit more speed, but that is okay. We are still in a good position. You know, we're already in a podium, but we're really looking for this P1. It's without a doubt in our grasp. Using all the track here. Pitching it in, keep it nice to the right, and we brake right when the curbing starts. And as you can see, P1 loses it. P1 loses it. And now we are the leader. So all we got to do is hold it together, because we essentially just have one more lap left in this race. So all we got to do is focus on our just driving. That's all we got to do. He is too far back to catch up unless we start making awful mistakes. And this is why we race, ladies and gents. Coming down the main straight, we got the white flag. Now in a little bit here, we're just gonna jump ahead because ultimately it's an uneventful last lap. You know, we didn't do anything crazy, and we pulled back just like 5%. Didn't do anything crazy, but what an astounding second race. So you can see he catches up to us because we were playing reserved on the first lap as we jump ahead here. But we're going into the final corners here. Really nailed that braking point and pitching it in there. Very nice. And it's just down to the last two corners. So all we got to do is have a decent exit, and we've got it in the bag, which we do. And look at that, ladies and gents. Only our second race in, we get P1 in iRacing. Ecstatic about this. So much fun.
You won. You drive a great race.
All I have to say is I am already hooked to this game. Even after these two races that I had done and filmed, I was into a bunch of other races after that. I wanted to move up and get my D license so that way I could qualify for different races and different tracks. So that was exciting and a fun journey, but I can promise you there will be a lot more iRacing content on this channel. I'm addicted. I'm hooked. If you are into motorsport and sim racing, like really, really into it, iRacing is for you, for sure. Especially if you're into multiplayer, specifically in the competitive aspect of it. I'm that type of person. I like the competition, and it's just perfect for me. But anyways, I hope you really enjoyed this video and got a lot out of it. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for future content. Once again, thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Take care. See you next time.